A Fox 5 I-Team investigation into a high school championship football team leads to a massive effort to change state rules.
Yeah, every Georgia high school coach and athletic director is being asked to sign a petition. It's aimed at stopping what many agree is widespread cheating in where students are enrolled and participating in sports.
Fox 5 I-Team reporter Randy Travis returns with these new developments. Randy?
Yeah, Russ and Sine, the target of this petition is the Georgia High School Association. GHSA has the power to punish when schools or parents break the rules. Critics say this is an effort to make them do their job.
Davis takes a sack.
Consider this move an all-out blitz on the Georgia High School Association.
They keep saying they can't do anything. No, they won't do anything.
For years, coaches across the state complained star athletes wound up somehow playing for a rival team, even though they didn't actually live in that school district. A Fox 5 I-Team investigation discovered two key players on Allatoona High School's championship football team living in Paulding County, not Cobb.
We're here in and out, and we've been here for over 4 years.
But when we tried to bring our findings to the Cobb County School District, no one there wanted to get involved. Neither did the Georgia High School Association, which takes the position that once a player enters the 9th grade, they have no jurisdiction, even if the player and his family secretly live somewhere else. Last December, Allatoona High School beat Glenn Academy 10-6 for the 5A championship.
Candidly, we feel cheated. I feel cheated as a parent. I know the coaches feel cheated.
So Glenn Academy parents came up with this, a petition sent to 446 Georgia high school coaches and athletic directors. It urges the GHSA to require certification of residency each year. And if a school is caught using a player not in the district, they'd be forced not to just forfeit all games, but all playoff money too.
Well, if GHSA is not going to govern, then somebody needs to put pressure on them to enforce their rules. If they're not going to enforce their rules, then why do they exist?
GHSA would not comment, but the chairman of the Georgia Board of Education had plenty to say.
It's past time to do something about it. If they were to take some enforcement action against a few that they know are violating the law, then I think they would go a long ways in cleaning it up pretty quickly.
How out of control is it right now, do you think?
It's worse than people think.
That's because so far we've only talked about half the problem. What about those kids who transfer to another school simply because they want to play for another team? Well, their world could get a lot more complicated. Since Christmas, 4 rising seniors have transferred to football powerhouse Grayson High School in Gwinnett County. All 4 may have legitimately moved into the district. There's no evidence anyone from Grayson recruited them, which would violate GHSA rules. But even if they had been recruited to transfer, proving such a violation is often impossible. That's why the Glenn Academy petition also calls for GHSA to require any transfer student sit out 1 year from playing any sports unless his old coach releases him to play for the new school.
If a child moves within a certain distance from their home school, they're ineligible for a year, and there's a waiver process.
Putting the burden on the player to prove that he and his family really did move.
That's understandable, and that happens every day, and that's a right to do that. But it doesn't need to be on the basis of recruiting in high school athletics.
Glenn Academy's petition will be presented later this summer, but there's no guarantee GHSA would adopt any of the proposals.
What happens then?
Well, GHSA's got some decisions to make. In my opinion, I think there would be a long legislative session next year if they did that.
Now, we've posted the entire petition on our website. One of the other ideas mentioned in there is using a third party to investigate allegations of a residency trickery, I guess you could put it, the kind of stuff that we found going on over at Allatoona. Sure. Right now the system is set up so that the county is the one that investigates itself, and a lot of people feel that's just a bad conflict of interest.
Sure. Well, we can see where there will be some controversy over this clause in the petition asking for the former coach to basically approve for the student to leave to go to another school?
That's one of the ideas they're talking about, Sine. It's not set in stone, and one of the ideas was maybe have sort of a 25-mile radius around the school. And if you move outside of that radius, then you can play immediately. But if you're moving inside, then they want the other coach to have some sort of say. But there'd also be a waiver process so that if the coach says no, and you say, well, I really had to move over here for a legitimate reason, it's not for recruiting, it's not for anything else, then you could appeal and still play the very next year.
Not have to sit out a year.
I mean, if the parents actually move their residence, it would seem that the kids ought to be allowed to play.
Well, the Grayson families look like they moved their residence. At least there's no indication that they haven't.
Right.
But there's still some controversy there because there is at least a suspicion of recruiting going on.
Yeah,
a lot of coaches talking about this stuff right now. They want something done, Russ. They say the status quo just is not acceptable.
All right, Randy. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks, Randy.